day it is to be here today. Our speaker today is Yi Sun, and Yi is going to speak to us about the communication process. Yi is working on the Toastmaster project number 6, which is vocal variety. And this particular project is important because it aims at teaching us as Toastmasters how to harness the power of our voice. So that's what we'll be looking for in Yi's speech today. He would also like to have feedback on the sincerity of his voice, the proper volume, pitch, and rate, the way he handles his breath, the use of his pauses, and his overall effectiveness of the speech in terms of pleasant, natural, confident, expressive, and ability to convince us. Timer, could I please have lights 7, green, 8 at yellow, and 9 at red. Yi's speech is titled, I Am Sorry, What Did You Say? Please help me welcome Yi Sun.
Tutelage. I'm still processing how to use that. I missed the boat for that one. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome everyone. My speech today starts with a message. From time to time we say, I'm sorry, what did you say? It's about communication. So everyone got a handout there. So I'd like to start with explaining some of the key points in the handout that you have. As you can see, that every day, about 50% of our waking time we spend in communication. Either we being the speaker, the sender, by email, by speak, or by the receiver, the listener, or people who receive email or message, or a shrug. I got this a lot in my home. I got 11-year-old. So when they do that, they have some opinion to say. So in the communication process, as you can see, everybody got a handout. As a human being, we code what we want to say based on our own culture background, our own communication style. But when we say it out, actually the words, the email getting into an environment as channels to the receiver. So speaking of the face-to-face communication, that is actually the noise around you, people's working around you, whether you are in a restaurant or office environment, and then reach to the receiver or the listener. Then they use their framework or their culture background to interpret what you want to say. They receive that message in their way. There's a game from time to time the kids play called telephone. You play the telephone, but every time you play with it, the first message will not reach to the end. You always have a fun part, what people interpret from it. But the key piece to close this communication process loop is to give feedback. Either paraphrase what people say, do you mean by that? Or actually just to recap what the message was, so the speaker can know what exactly the message was received. Based on that, the communication effectively arena actually count 2 big partners. One is the speaker, the other is the listener. As we are all fellow Toastmasters, we have been working a lot on the speaking side, right? So let's see how we can help to answer this problem if we are the speaker. I got 3 pieces of discussion point. I'd like to hear your voice after my speech. The first is that be mindful to your environment and your listener. That means their background, the environment you're speaking, and the end point is always whether your points or message is received by the listener. Let me do a little bit demonstration by using our famously known Pure Michigan, right? So the first demonstration I will do is to mimic that gentleman's voice we hear from the radio, the speed, the pitch of it, but I made up a small paragraph to read to you. Pure Michigan, where you can enjoy the beautiful fall color, deep blue of the Great Lakes, or historical site of Henry Ford Museum. Not that good, but you get my point. Let's see if I practice a high pitch. But remember, the point is always whether the listener get a comfortable message there. Pure Michigan, where you can enjoy the beautiful fall color, deep blue of the Great Lakes, or historical site of Henry Ford Museum. So it's not that pleasant, right? How about let's try something different. You always heard a credit card commercial. When by the end they read it very fast, don't really want you to get what they want to say, right? I'll do my best. Pure Michigan, where you can enjoy the beautiful fall color, deep blue of the Great Lakes, or historical site of Henry Ford Museum. So what you get is really the key. So the speaker need to be mindful how to say it so that the listener can get it. The second piece of advice is actually keep practicing what we have been using or learning from our manual. We have make to the point, which is the second project everybody do, right? So make sure that you don't cloud your message. You're really to the point what you really want people to learn. The other thing is speak to the ear. You speak simple words, short sentences, make the paragraph brief, so people get the points rather than keep going on and on, getting looped back. The third and last piece is for advice for this speaker role is to practice every day. Because again, 50% of your time every day is spending in communication. So let's see how we can help to solve the problem if we are the listener. Actually, that's the key message I want to share with you today. Calvin Coolidge usually say that it takes a great man to be a good listener. Also, Paul Tillich also have a saying is that the first duty of love is to listen. Some people say a woman ought to win your heart of a gentleman's heart if she's a good listener. She listens to you. I think it's true the other way around. So to be a good listener, the key thing is the active listening skill. I want to say 3 points as well as what I did for the speaker side. So for the first point I want to share with you is that there's a difference between listening and hearing. As a normal, healthy people, hearing is a function of our bodies. So no matter you close your eyes or open your eyes, as long as you are conscious, hearing is happening. No matter you pay attention to it or not. That's part of what our ears do. But listening is different. Listening requires consciously direct your attention so that your brain can receive and process the information. Listening leads to learning. So to be an effective listener, there's different skills outside you can search more. So the second point I want to share with you are 2 techniques that you can use. The first technique is to focus on the message. Focus on the message the speaker is trying to pass to the audience. When you're doing that, you deactivate the activities in your mind. Things like, how should I respond to this? What's my opinion in this message? Don't do that. Listen to the message. Focus on the main points. Because a lot of times, people try to use the example, try to use joke to support a point. Sometimes can distract you from the main point. Focus on the main point. The second technique is to give feedback. When you learn, when you hear what they try to say, ask questions and give them feedback either by paraphrasing or recap what they want to say. Make sure that you are on the same page with the speaker. A lot of times when you are a speaker, you speak, people responding to you either by or by laughing. That means your point's getting through, right? They're listening. So a great speaker starts from letting people to laugh, to make the bound. But as a listener, laugh is not a end result, right? You want to get some learning going on there. So listen, focus on the message, and listen by giving feedback. The last piece of information is really the listening skill is learn. So you can learn from it. Practice, practice, practice. There's great books out there. Things like Servant Leadership, a small book to read. There's a great story there, just how to help you to listen effectively. That's my last message for active listening. I'd like to close my today's speech by another saying. I think the author is Stephen Covey. It says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Yi.
Sure.
That was great. Fallon, can you just time off a minute for us, please, so that we can get our evaluation set up? Yi, what did you get interested? How did you get interested enough in communication to actually do a speech on it?
I think there's a lot of factors. Last time I gave the speech on multicultural, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I think you were there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of times is that when I communicate, I always have aha moment. Oh yeah, that's what he means. Because my culture comes from Asia, is really always is less direct, high context. But the U.S. is the opposite of the arena, if you want to say, is that direct without context. We used to have a joke that when you ask the U.S. people to draw a horse, they draw a horse, right? But you ask people from South America or Asia to draw a horse, maybe they give you the cloud, they give you the grass, give you the beautiful background, and then draw a beautiful horse. But there's a contrast there. The other thing is really that that's actually solves some part of how you communicate. But the other is really listening, because I constantly have this challenge either by talking to my colleague or myself. Listening is not easy. It's very hard, specifically when you're growing into a leadership position, leadership role. How to have the team perform together. Listening is one of the key things. Got to be achieved. So that's all.
Good point. Thanks.
Sure.
So now I'd like to ask Sam to come up and introduce and facilitate our table topics. So please help me welcome Sam.